Hello and welcome to another one in the series of the Ellis Clark Trains how-to videos. And today we're going to do how to fit coal to your Black 5 tender. Now, we say Black 5 tender, but this could be to any locomotive in any gauge that you have, whether it be a tank engine, whether it be a tendered loco. So the tools we're going to use, obviously, we'll ignore the tender for a moment. We're going to use some foam, a craft knife, a paintbrush, some PVA glue, some ballast bond, and obviously some coal. Now, you could just use coal that you can buy from such as Gauge Master, etc. Perfectly acceptable, but I like to get a piece of coal and break it up with a hammer, and then I've got proper coal in reasonably sized lumps. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the tender itself. We're not going to have a totally full, we're probably going to have a somewhere around about 3/4, something like that. So first of all, we just look at the size and look at the actual piece of foam we've got, and I'm just going to cut some off the side of this. Don't really need to measure us in with a ruler and mark it out or anything. We're just going to so it fits and we're happy with it. Move those out of the way. That's now starting to fit inside. Next thing we're going to do is put the angle on for the bunker. All I'm using on this is just foam that you can find maybe in packing materials or something like that. That's starting to go in there. We'll then taper it that way. Now, there's no right or wrong way with this. We're just making it fit until we're happy with how it's going to look before we put the coal on. Yeah, I'm just going to take a little cut off there for the fire iron tunnel, and the same on that side for the how it radiuses down. And then, because this is going to be the front end, I'm just going to scallop out a little bit more of a fall down as if it's been shoveled away. And as you can see now, we're nicely in there. We've got a reasonable amount in. I might just take a little bit more out of there. It's literally however you want to do it. And there you go, that's in there. So we're going to glue that in, and I'm going to glue that in with a little bit of Yoo-hoo type glue. You could use Bostik or Yoo-hoo. That's just because we're gluing foam to plastic. It's not using this for gluing the coal in. This is just to glue the actual foam into position. We don't need to let it go off. It goes off pretty quickly. And we don't need to worry about it once it's inside. It can just set itself. So that's just pressed into the glue. And as you can see now, that's done like that. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to add a little bit of a lump in the middle. So I'm just going to use the piece I cut out of the front, turn it upside down, and just make it a little bit more like a pile, if that makes sense, as if it's a pile of coal. A little bit more Yoo-hoo, just in this area here. That's that done, and we'll pop that at a bit of an angle in there, and that is that stage now complete. Next thing we're going to do is PVA bond. You get it from Screwfix or places like that, or you might just be using it for scenery. You could get it from Gauge Master if you want to. We're just going to put a reasonable layering all the way around. Get it down that gap that's appeared down there. Turn that over. Next one is oldish paintbrush, because it's a bit of a messy thing to do this. It's not going to be your best paintbrushes. We're getting the glue right down into the front, to the front bunker. And if I turn around so we can see, we'll get some glue onto the plastic there as well. So we've got some at the front, and then position the glue all the way around, all the way in, like so. What I'm also going to do, back of the bunker, I'm just going to put a little bit in this area here as well, as if it's got some overspill. We'll pop that in the water out the way. Next little job is we're going to put the coal in. First place I always go is the front of the bunker, because then you can get a reasonable amount popped in there, like so. Then it's just a matter of sprinkling her over, building her up how you particularly want it. You can see now the little lump we've done just gives a little bit more height on the coal that's in the bunker. If you wanted a full bunker, you could do. If you wanted a nearly empty bunker, you could do. It just depends how big you cut that piece of foam initially. That's all it's about, is this. And in here we've got some Pico, really fine coal dust. You can put some of that in as well, even in 7mm. Because don't forget, towards the end of steam, coal wasn't the best quality in the world. So we can just make sure everything's covered. We're happy with that. And then the next job, it's as easy as we're using a ballast bond, which is available from people like Gauge Master. It's basically for doing your ballast on your track, but it soaks in lovely, as you can see now. And we just literally work his way over the whole area, but don't push it in like as if you were firing it from a gun. Just let it drip itself in, and you can see it changing colour and covering every piece of coal. It's then going to soak its way through all the coal. It takes 24 hours to go rock hard, and then you've got a coal tender, and we're more or less there now. You really don't need, what I'm trying to say is, you don't need to do like that. It's just let it drip itself in nicely. It'll drip out quite nicely, and it'll just capillary itself in. A little bit on the front there, look. Let it just take itself through. And we're just down into that bottom corner down there. Get all that done. A little bit at the back here. That, we'll put the lid back on that. We'll just get a little cotton wool bud. Just soak some of that off the back of there, just so it doesn't mark the model. Like, there's a little bit drip there, look. And that, now, what I normally do is, the other piece of the foam that I cut, I normally sit the tender at about a 45-degree angle overnight, so that any of the glue that seeps into the foam doesn't run out of the front, because obviously the bunker's designed to come forward like so. So by doing that, it sets it upwards. And I'll just leave it like that now for 24 hours. Wash your tools away, and coal in a Black 5 is as easy as that. Thank you very much. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it was a little bit of a short one, but it just shows you that with a few tools and a little bit of thought of how to do it, and maybe being shown how to do it, you can coal any locomotive up in any gauge really, really quickly. It takes longer for it to dry than it does to actually do. And thank you very much, and I hope to see you again on one of our other videos.